Is No More Heroes 3 worth our time? We're about to find out. Welcome everyone to episode 168 of 1 Hour 1 Decision 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, it's third time the charm?
I don't know. It's the first time for us.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you, Game Pass, for giving us another sequel to a series in No More Heroes 3. Developed by Grasshopper Manufacture Incorporated. So this game came out in August 2021 on the Switch. And then a year and so later in October 2022 to PS4, PS5, Xbox, all the Xboxes and PC. So there's that. And I play this on the PC. 24 gigabytes on the PC. Tom, what about you?
Hey now, we got savings on the consoles here. 21.20 gigabytes on the Xbox Series S.
Nice. That's good. And what kind of game is this?
I put third-person action brawler.
That was the verb or adjective that I needed in this because I just put third-person action game. But you're right.
Yeah, there are plenty of third-person action games, but none that are quite so beat 'em uppy.
Yes.
Not none, but, not all of them are.
Yeah. Third person brawler it is. And what is that game loop?
Well, you may not be surprised to learn that you hack and slash your way through a bunch of minions to accrue enough wealth so that you can challenge bosses.
Huh.
And then you rinse, repeat.
I did not realize that was the case here, but I put kick some alien butt until you get to the big alien butt that you will kick.
Yes. The gated doorways, from my understanding, are gated based on your current financial status.
Felt like that's how the first game was. I didn't realize that this was how it was. I heard a lot about No More Heroes when it first came out on the Wii because it was so different from all the games that were coming out for the Wii. So it was just such a ridiculous premise. I was like, this is kind of cool. I never had a Nintendo Wii, so I never got it. So this is my first foray into this crazy universe of No More Heroes 3. And let's get into what this is. What did you like about this game?
I'm going to jump around my list here, but the game is self-aware about how dumb it is. It breaks the fourth wall. It knows that it's this ridiculous thing. It has Super Sentai style transformations.
Yep.
It calls it full armor mode, but you know what it is.
Right.
Guy's turning into a Kamen Rider or, a Power Ranger.
Yep.
The
Gundam at some points too.
Sure. Like the presentation is just so weird.
Yeah.
And it starts in this kind of like retro absurd way where like it's all pixels and stuff like that. And then you play as Deathman in the intro in like a traditional 2D side-scrolling beat 'em up. It's just so zany.
Yeah, it is.
And
I agree. I wonder what that initial game design playbook was and how much it smelled of drugs and paraphernalia of some sort. Because
wouldn't it be cool if?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They just threw anything and everything at this game. I mean, it has definitely a lot of pop culture references and stuff like that. I think it even a little bit of, because I take it back. I don't know why I thought there was these former Capcom people. I forget now. But the point is that this game just hit on all these different things that they were like, yes, throw it in there. And it's like, okay, cool. But at the same time, this game just oozes style. This is another game that was just so damn stylish. It did all those things in such a way that they had moments to breathe in their zany way. And this was punch in the face for sure with everything. So I was really surprised at how I had no expectations going into this, and I was like, what is this? It kept me glued to my seat. I'll tell you that much. So what else you got here?
You mentioned a little bit the references, right? Yeah. There's a segment where it's very clearly a nod to Aliens, where there are all these eggs, and it's like there's something's going to hatch out of those, right? And that was really funny. And then you have like the main character, Travis Touchdown. Is that his name?
Touchdown. That's his name.
Oh my goodness! And he's carries around a beam sword.
Yeah,
it's a lightsaber. Let's call a spade, right?
Yeah.
It's and somehow they get away with it, right? Like.
Well, it has a little stick that the light it holds onto. So there's that. But there is the way that you have to charge up the beam. I remember when the first game came out, there was some ridiculousness with it. The way he positioned how he charged the beam in the first game. I don't think he does it as much here. But yeah.
He just kind of hunches over and like shakes.
Yeah, you can use your imagination to how that looks, but yeah, that's basically what happened. This game it's just so like the gameplay is just so frantic. It is like you said, it is a brawler, but like just the stuff that gets thrown on the screen, the effects the particle effects and everything that happens while you're like beating the snot out of these things, it's just ridiculous. And then, like in certain situations, maybe it's like the final minion or whatnot, where you have like this kill mode and it's you have a quick time event that essentially kicks in at that point, and it's just over the top with everything. And I wrote this down because I was like, if Hi-Fi Rush was not influenced by this and not in some way, if we were ever able to ask that question to the game director on that, and they say they didn't, they are flat out lying, because there's this game. It like you could see Hi-Fi Rush is like a PG version of this game because of the way that even like the way that the game starts up, right? There's like you had that weird 2D game, and then it kind of switched to an anime kind of intro between these two characters. Then you find out that one of the characters, Fu, is this big baddie that you have to take, that you as Travis Touchdown have to take down. But it was like, and that was a reference to what? E.T. And I was like, it's just layers upon layers of just pop culture references. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah. There's definitely some Marvel in there with all like the superheroes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, what's popular on Earth right now? Superheroes? Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Exactly. So it's quite crazy. And I mean, the character designs I thought were quite interesting too. The bosses that you fight and such. So that was good. It was good. What else did you get on here?
You touched on it a little bit, and I did want to bring it up, is that this series, we're playing the third game, came very much from the Wii generation. And I appreciate that they've kept, like, even though we're not using motion controls here, neither you nor I, not you on the PC, not me on the Xbox.
Right.
But there still is the events that you would do with motion controls. So like the strike from left to right, the strike up and down, the, waggling the control stick up and down to simulate the motion that you would have to do with your, Wii remote and your nunchuck in order to power up the sword. Like, I'm glad that all of that stuff lives on here, even though the Wii is a distant memory at this point.
Right. I'm kind of curious because this game did come out on the PS4, PS5, and the Switch, actually. If they did actually add the motion controls on those particular systems, that'd be kind of curious, interesting to find out if they did that. So, and the game had like you said, there's a lot of cutscenes and stuff like that happened throughout the game, and pretty good voice acting, I would say, overall. And I had it on the English version of this game, so it was pretty good, pretty dang good. I don't know what you thought about that, but yeah.
Some of them irked me a little bit, but I think it was probably more their potty mouths. But before we get into the things that I didn't like, because I do have quite a few of those, I want to say I think the tutorial taught the controls and mechanics in a fun way.
Right.
And it was useful. There's a lot to teach you, at times. But it does it in kind of a funny, because it's voice acted and all that. Like, I appreciated that. So
So shall we get into those dislikes there, Tom?
Yeah. We can call it a pro, but I can call it a con. Like, this game can't decide what it wants to be.
Okay.
And like, I would like some stability from my experience. Like, the visual style is all over the damn place. Like, it starts off and it looks like it's going to be like a 2D retro game.
Yeah.
But then it turns into an anime movie.
Yeah.
And then it switches again, and then it's like this realistic action game. So it's like, what are you? Like, what do you want to be?
I don't know if you got this far, but when you fight the first boss, it also becomes like a bullet hell also. So there's that too.
It's just,
it's crazy.
It's all over the damn place. And I guess this goes kind of hand in hand with that, which is that, like, before you like start the game, like, you know, get to the initial, like, oh, you're playing No More Heroes 3 here. There's like 10 minutes of like exposition and like flipping between these various visual styles and things like that. Like, there's like this major dump of exposition before the game starts.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, coming in as the third game in the franchise, I was still lost.
I agree.
You would think that if it's going to take all that time to get you up to speed, you would be up to speed by the end of it.
Yeah.
But it spends like that time mostly introducing the villain.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I guess they just go, well, if you're playing the third one, you probably played the first two, didn't you?
Right.
No, we didn't.
No, we did not. Not in this case, Grasshopper. But I agree with you. There was like, especially since if you look, even just look at the cover art, and I'm again vaguely familiar with the series, at least the first one. The fact that, the character has kind of like this coiffed of hair, very Elvis looking, and then like when this guy who's in like a neck brace and like 5 o'clock shadow or whatever you want to call it is supposed to be Travis Touchdown, I was like, really? That's him? Like, that's weird. Like, it totally threw me off, and I was taken aback a little bit. I was like, okay, well, what happened? And they kind of didn't really explain that either. They just kind of like went to this villain, and like you said, you're learning about him, but not really what happened to Travis during this whole time. If there was a lot of time, was there between 2 and 3? I don't know, but yeah, and then like I agree. There's a lot of cutscenes that happen, a lot of things, a lot of crude jokes in this game. So this is not a game that you want to be playing in front of your kids. Got that? Because it will make them clutch their pearls or their nearest toy. I don't know, but
or parrot the things that are being said on the screen, and you would not want that as a parent.
No.
Going to be having to explain lots of things to lots of people.
Yeah, I mean, like the save system. What do? You go to the you go to the bathroom. You take a dump. That's how you. I mean, I guess it's a accurate way of like you understanding how a save system works. You're dumping some files to a location. So
I didn't even catch that pun.
I don't know. That's what I just thought there, but yeah, that was probably not something that you want your kids to see, or not, or hey, if that's how you raise your kids, you do you. But I'm not doing that. I will also say this is a game that was kind of. I was annoyed that the fact that the difficulty setting is locked at the beginning.
Yeah,
you're just like that. They're like, are you want to pick this? Okay. And they had some cool names, with the difficulties and stuff like that. But it was like, you're locked in. You can't change it on the fly. So it's definitely like an old school way of doing things. But I guess I kind of appreciate that I got that warning that you can't change the setting after.
Yeah. So, it's all about setting expectations. The problem is that this game isn't sure what it wants to set.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it was clear about that, but it's not clear about a lot of other things.
Sure. What else you got here about your laundry list, it seems?
Okay, well, speaking of things that were unclear, I died a lot fighting one of the bosses because I couldn't find the health items. I had bought them.
Yeah.
I had them in my inventory, but I'm pressing pause looking for an inventory screen. There isn't one. I'm pressing pause looking for a controller map, and it's not there.
Really?
There's no way to view the controls in the options. And I'm getting progressively more frustrated because I have to keep replaying this. I can't reduce the difficulty setting to make it easy to solve it. And so I was pretty frustrated about that. Fortunately, at some point I just broke down and went on the internet. and Googled how to do it.
Yeah.
Then obviously I was able to beat the boss because I stopped taking.
Yeah.
I had the resources to defeat him. I had them the whole time. I just couldn't access them.
Yeah. Yeah. The D-pad and all this glory.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like you have to go like sideways on the D-pad, highlight, get to the item there,
right,
and then you press up on the D-pad to eat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been, even if the tutorial was just like, I don't know, the third time I died, it could have gone like, hey, maybe you should be using those, 5 health items that you have.
Yeah.
Or when you're like critically low and I've never healed before, remember game, I haven't healed yet.
Yeah.
You go, hey, this is how you heal. You probably want to do that now, right? And take that moment to teach me. Pause the game, like freeze the game and go, this is how you use your health items right now. You just need to teach me one time and then I'll know.
There you go.
What happens is sometimes, Chris, this game is so chaotic.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff going on at once.
Yeah.
Like there was a point where like you're in the tutorial. The tutorial is happening like it's not pausing combat like I would say would be good.
Sure.
No, combat's happening. Like the characters in the background, they're there and they're ready to kick your butt.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you have like dialogue cutscene happening. So I was getting like bombarded by all of these stimuli. And I'm just like, you need to give me like one of these things at a time. Like I found it pretty overwhelming where I was just like, I'm not having fun right now.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to slow this down.
Yeah. That's surprising. I don't remember that happening, but that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Literally, there was a cutscene happening not like a cutscene, but like character dialogue occurring.
Sure.
Yeah. That's like plot exposition is occurring at the same time I'm in combat. At the same time, like the tutorial is up trying to teach me a move. And I'm just like, okay, like this is too much.
Yeah. And they have the tutorial again, where it's just like pretty wordy with their tutorials because they pause kind of like this text box kind of pops up with some cute little drawing. Maybe of the game director, maybe that's who that is. But, and then they kind of tell you, oh, this is how you do it. Like what I appreciated about like Hi-Fi Rush, which maybe this is maybe what Hi-Fi Rush feels a bit better for me, is they had that wall of text, but they also had a video showing you how this will look if you do said action there. So
I always appreciated that in Fallen Order, like in the Jedi series, they do that like before you purchase an upgrade.
Yeah, it
kind of shows you what a little movie of what the upgrade does. So you're like, oh yeah, that move looks cool. I want that.
Yeah. The combat, like I said, it is all over the place. The thing is the game does have like a dodge system where it kind of slows down time if you time it correctly. The perfect dodge. I don't know. There's something about it that just felt a little off for me. I don't know if the timing felt a little off for me, but it didn't feel as satisfying as like other parry / perfect dodge systems that I used before. So that was kind of disappointing. Playing it maybe it gets good. I don't know. Cool. Any other dislikes here, or shall we?
The last little thing I have here is kind of it's not necessarily specific to this game, but kind of applies to the whole genre, which is this game is repetitive. All beat 'em up games are, right? Like you beat up this guy, then you beat up another one of these guys that looks exactly like the guy that you just beat up.
Right.
And then you beat up 6 more of those same guys on your way to beating up, some bigger guy. At least here, when you do get to those bigger guy, those boss battles are interesting and have different mechanics.
Definitely.
But it is a lot of just, smashing A or smashing X or whatever you want to.
What, how many bosses did you fight?
Just the one, because I was stuck there for a while.
Yeah. Oh man. Good times with that boss. All right, cool. So other thoughts here, other things to point out. This game says How Long to Beat says this game takes about 12 hours to complete. So it feels like a weekend game for sure. So that's good. And this game is xCloud capable, but not cross cloud or cross save compatible. Meaning since I started this on PC, my save is not going to be available on my Xbox or xCloud, which is unfortunate.
Less good. Not good.
What do you got there, Tom?
Okay. So even though this is numbered No More Heroes 3, it is actually the 4th installment in the franchise. It is set 11 years after the events of No More Heroes 2. So there's the answer to that question. Okay. So if you've been, if you're a series regular, right, that's some good information for you. The creator director of this game was brought back to work on No More Heroes after getting his hands on a Switch. Because, again, of the return to motion controls. So, obviously inspired originally by the Wii and the motion controls, and was like, oh, I can make something interesting here.
Sure.
Then brought back here again because the Switch enabled him to go back to doing those sorts of things again. The game was built using Unreal Engine 4, and the director says that this is the end for Travis Touchdown. So he's not looking to make any more of them. There's a licensing issue at play with it. And I guess, I mean, who knows? Maybe 20 years from now, he'll sing a different song, right? If some new piece of technology comes out that entices him to come back. But he says that's it.
Interesting.
So that's good to know, right? Because if this game's 14 hours, you could conceivably play the whole series in the time it would take you to play a normal RPG.
Right. It's pretty impressive. And I did want to, now you say that, and of course I say that it was released on the Switch initially, like on his hand is what looks like a little switch as well that he puts that he like plays around with and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like a little power glove, another
there you go
little reference.
There you go. And the one I forgot about this, and actually as you were talking about it being No More Heroes 3 and stuff like that, during a lot of the, like, I don't know if it's a loading screen or whatnot, they kept splashing No More Heroes 3 in the, like, during that gameplay or doing those little pauses. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I know what game I'm playing. I know it's No More Heroes 3, but it kept throwing up there. So that was a little annoying as well. But now we need to find out what we're doing with this game, though, Tom. Are we keeping this on our respective hard drives, or like Suda51 or Suda indicating that this is the end? Travis Touchdown on our hard drives.
So I had a really tough time with that first boss because I couldn't figure out how to heal. And I was getting pretty frustrated. But stubbornly, I expected the game to resolve that for me because I think it should.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to give this game another hour. But I also think I should go back and play, like, start at No More Heroes 1.
Yeah.
I'm not invested in Travis Touchdown as a character, and I understand why. Because this game isn't about introducing Travis Touchdown. He's existed for 3 previous games.
Right.
I'm more invested in the villain and his alien sidekick, because that's who I got introduced to.
Right.
So anyway, I might dust off the Wii and try the first game and see how I feel about that.
Nice. All right. Well,
start from the beginning.
There you go. Here we go. Let's just, what's that little trope that say, oh, you might see me here, but let's go back to the beginning, or whatever, that whole kind of trope or whatever it is. But yes, for me, this gave me vibes of Hi-Fi Rush, and that was probably one of my favorite games. And it almost, again, feels like this game is what got me into Hi-Fi Rush. Like just a crazy amount of stuff that was happening. Maybe I'm just someone that just likes a lot of shiny lights and stuff like that. So yes, I'm going to keep this game. I want to complete this game. I want to see what the hype is about this series. And maybe like you, I will go back and play the older games just to see what was going on with them. And now I get a chance to try this out. I'm happy this is on Game Pass, at least for the time being. So there we go. So those are our thoughts about this game. Let us know what you think about this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter at TC1H1D, or shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D. And, this is on YouTube, so you can send comments down below. Tell us that the Suda games are great, or the rest of the other games are not great. And we'll try to comment about that. Or, if we've got a bunch of other reviews that we've done here, so check those all out too. So 1 in 20 is part of that QTB network. And if you like any great gaming content, check it all out at quitthebill.com/network. Now, Tom.
Yes. Before we let these fine people go, we need to inform them.
We need to inform them about what the next game is. So, surprise button, let us know what we're playing. Here we go. Okay. The Big Con.
Hey, it's not the Big Con 2, so I'm already on board.
Yes. We are starting from the beginning of this game series. Maybe it's a series or not. We'll find out. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into this episode, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.